Hello, everyone, and we are here for this session on leadership. Do you all agree with me if I say that leadership is one of the most important pillar of the organization? How many of you agree with the statement that leadership is an important pillar in the organization? How many of you agree with that? If you talk about me, then definitely I do agree that leadership is an important pillar of the organization. And for me, I believe somewhere that organizations cannot survive if they do not have effective leadership. What do you think? Can any organization survive without having the leaders? No. You might see in some of the organization we have the specific people knowing as, okay, he is the group leader, he is the team leader, but in some we might not say them as the leader, but still they are the leaders, they have those qualities, they help the organization to move towards success by fulfilling all the responsibilities of the leader. Now, if tell you about the responsibility of the leader, you might be thinking that what are the responsibility? What leader does? The leader is the one who makes the group, who makes the team move in the forward direction, who makes the team move towards achieving the goals of the organization, who makes the people, the team closer to the goals of the organization. An organization without a leader may not be able to survive long until and unless they do not have a person who is taking up the leadership role, because leadership is something which is very important in the organization. Now, in the last session, we have discussed about situational leadership, where we have discussed about four different quadrants. Like it is talking about four different things in leadership. First was telling leadership style that we have already learned. Now, if I talk about the second leadership style, it is the selling, coaching, or explaining leadership style. Now, what is selling, coaching, explaining leadership style? How a leader used this style that we are going to discuss in detail. But can you tell me if you remember what I told you about the telling leadership style? What is the telling leadership style? What exactly the people do when they are using the telling leadership style? So it is something which not focuses on building the relationship, but is something which is highly task oriented. That's what we have studied in telling leadership style. But now, when we are talking about the second leadership style, it is not something which just focuses on the task, achieving the task. It is something which focus on both task as well as relationship behavior. It focus on building the relationship with other person. So this leadership approach is high on both task and relationship behavior. So this is the approach which is high, which is focusing on task as well as building the relationship with the employees. See, one thing is very clear, that if you build the relation, if you build strong relationship with the employees, then you are definitely going to get the good returns. But if you do not build the relationship with the employees, you will not get the good results. For some time, the people may do whatever you are saying, but if you are going to see the results in the long run, the results are not going to be good, because what you are doing is you are using the task oriented behavior, where you are just focusing on getting the work done rather than building the relation and getting the work done. You're least bothered whether you are having a bond with that person, you're building a relationship with that person or not. What you are focusing on is simply focusing on the task oriented. So, telling leadership style is definitely a task oriented leadership style, but selling leadership style is something which has high focus on both task as well as relationship behavior. The leader still maintain decision right regarding here. It is having it is focusing on both the things, that building the relationship as well as task oriented. So though it is focusing on building the relationship, but still it maintains and have the decision making right regarding now what all decisions, what all kind of decision this leadership style takes. Under this leadership style, a leader take is first is what the follower needs to be done. See, being a leader, it is your topmost priority, and definitely you have to look at what the followers are going to do, what the followers have to perform, which task they have to achieve. So, yes, this right still is with is in the hand of the leader, that what the follower need to be doing, what the follower is going to do, that is still being decided under the selling leadership also, that is decided by the leader only, how they should be doing it. Now the way they are going to work, the way they are going to achieve it, that is also decided by the leader only. There is no other person who decides that how it should be done, how they're going to achieve the task, how they are going to do the task. That is still decided by the leader only, not by any other person. So, how they should be doing it, the way they are going to achieve the task, the steps they are going to follow, the procedure they are going to follow, that is also again decided by the leader who is performing, who is using the selling leadership style. It is not decided by the followers only. Here this decision making right is not given to the followers under selling leadership style. So in this respect, when we are talking about how it should be done, this question remains same for both the style, that is telling and selling, that it is decided by the leader only, that how they should be doing the task, how they are going to perform the task. The next point says when it need to be completed. Now the deadlines, that is again going to be set by the leader, and this is something which remains common in all the four type of situational leadership style. This deadline is something which is going to be decided by the leader only. Yes, definitely once the leader has decided, has set the deadline, the followers can set another deadline prior to the deadline, but they cannot make any changes. They cannot switch or they cannot postpone the deadline which is given by the leader. One of the deadline for their own purpose can be done. So when it is needed to be done, when it is going to be completed, that is again something which is decided by the leader only. Why the task is important? Now, who will know why the task is important? Either the management who has given the task, or the leader who is allocating this task to other person. Both of the parties will be knowing that why the task is important, and if you want the task to be completed on time, it is important that you tell the people why the task is important. Because see, if you're not going to tell them the importance of the task, that how important the task is to be done within the deadline, how other things are going to be affected if we are unable to finish up the work on time, So it will ultimately affect the deadline of the ultimate project, and it may affect the organization also. So that is why if you're going to tell them about the importance of that project, it becomes very easy to work on that and to finish the project within the deadline, and where it fits into the overall scheme of operation. Now, where this project is fitting, this is also something you, being the leader, has to tell them. The leader also actively recognize the enthusiasm, interest, and commitment of the followers for learning and gaining task related experience. Now, if we are going to talk about the telling leadership style, now here what I'm doing, I'm comparing the selling leadership style with the telling leadership style. So in telling leadership style, the leader was never worried about the enthusiasm, interest, or commitment of the employees when he or she was giving them the work, that this is what something they have to do, whether they're interested in doing or not. Yes. So now, when we were talking about telling leadership style, and telling leadership style, he was not worried. The leader was never worried about other enthusiasm, interest, or commitment of the followers. But under this style, though the leader is guiding them, is taking all the decisions, like when it is to be done, why it is needed to be done, what should be done, how it should be done, when it is to be completed, why this task is important, everything, all these decisions are definitely taken by the leader. But when he is allocating the task to the person, he is also making sure about the interest, enthusiasm, and commitment of the employees. He observes that thing. He actively recognizes the person who are enthusiastic, who have interest in doing this kind of project for learning, gaining task related experience. So yes, that is why we say that this leadership style do focus on building the relationship with the employees also. Because if we are going to see the last line, so what he is doing, he's trying to build the relation, he's considering the interest, enthusiasm, and commitment of the followers when he is giving them the work. He's not just focusing on getting the work done by any person, whether he or she is interested in doing that or not. So that is why we say that selling leadership is style is something which actively recognizes the enthusiasm, interest, and commitment of the followers. Now, what does a selling leadership style look like? What do you think? What leadership style it looks like? It looks like a leadership style where two-way communication is allowed. In telling, there was only one-way communication because leader was only saying that what is to be done. He was never worried about what interest, what enthusiasm the person, the follower is going to have while performing this specific task. So that was the one single-way communication, but here it is definitely two-way communication because leader is actively noticing, asking the enthusiasm, interest, and the willingness of the employees. So, this leadership style looks like the leader provides specific who, what, where, when, how, and why. He gives the specific instructions, he gives the specific tasks related to who is going to do that, what is to be done, where it is to be done, when it is to be done, how it is to be done, and why it is to be done. So all these five W and one H, the questions which are asking with five W and one H are being answered when we are talking about the selling leadership style. It explains decisions and allows an opportunity for the individual to seek clarification. So whatever decision he or she is taking, he or she makes sure that they are explaining the decision, that why this decision was taken. This decision is in good faith of the organization, in good faith of the followers, and also it provides the opportunity for the individual to seek clarification. Let's say Though he has explained everything, that why decision was being taken, he has explained the circumstances and everything he has already explained, but still people are unable to understand. They have not got the clarification about why the decision was being taken. So it provides them the opportunity to ask, to seek for the clarification, to ask the question, and to clarify their doubts related to any specific decision which was being taken in the good faith of the organization, as well as for the good faith of the employees. So that is why we say, see, when we are explaining something, it is becoming one way. But when we are allowing the people to ask, to seek the clarification, don't you think it is going two way? It is the two-way communication that is happening. So yes, definitely it is the two-way communication which is happening. So the third point says it allows for two-way communication. So yes, it is giving us the opportunity to go for the two-way communication where the leader as well as the followers are being given the platform to share the ideas, and the followers are being given the right to clarify, to seek the clarification on whatever decision is being taken. So when the people, when the followers are seeking the clarification, so ultimately what it is doing, it is allowing the two-way communication where we have receiver as well as the sender, which is not allowed in the telling leadership style. It makes the decision and explains the individual role. So, yes, under this leadership style, again, though he is explaining the decision, but he is the only person who is making the decision, who is taking the decision. But yes, after taking the decision, he do explain the individual role also, that what is the role of the individual which they're going to perform in getting the task done. So it explains the individual role of the employees as of the followers, as well as it makes the decision. And last is reinforce and recognize incremental improvements. So when we are talking about relationship oriented leadership style, so it says that it is focusing, it is recognizing the improvement which are being made by the followers when they are taking any kind of decision. So it is about reinforce and recognizing the incremental improvement in the followers by the leader. This reinforce and recognizing of the improvement is not done under the telling leadership style. I think these points are clear, that how does this leadership look like. It's very simple. You can say under this leadership style, the leader gives the answer to 5W and 1H, that is who, what, where, when, why, and how. Along with that, it is the two-way communication which allows the followers to seek the clarification for the decision which are being taken by the leader. And with this, it also explains the individual role in the decision which is being taken. So along with that, it also focuses on the improvement of the organization also. And the last point says key indicators of when to use a selling leadership style. Now, what are the key indicators, like when you should use the selling leadership style? If I talk about telling leadership style, there we have learned that key indicators were that individuals are not performing good, they are new for the job, they are not clear what is to be done, they are very lazy, they always do procrastination, they avoid doing the tasks, they every time become defensive whenever they are being asked to perform a task. So when we are talking about all these things, when the employees are lazy, so basically we can say that employees are not willing to do the work, that time we are supposed to use the telling leadership style. But when are we supposed to use the selling leadership style? It is to be used when we find the followers, the individual is interested and excited to perform. Whenever we see a person, that a person is excited, is very, he or she is very much interested in performing the task. If we see these kind of things, so definitely we can say that yes, it is the indicator that to use the selling leadership style, because on basis of the interest and excitement, the leader is going to give them the task which they have to perform. So whenever you see that a person is interested and excited, it, whenever we see a person is interested, excited to do the task, to perform the task, that is the time we are supposed to use the selling leadership style. The second is demonstrate moderate ability. So demonstrating that, okay, we have that ability that we can perform the task. They're not unclear about what is to be done, how it is to be done. They have that ability to ability. They demonstrate that ability that yes, we can do the task. Is receptive to input and directions. So they are being receptive to whatever input and whatever directions are being provided. Is attentive and enthusiastic. So along with that, whenever you see the people are enthusiastic, they're very attentive, which is not there in the followers. When it is not there in the followers, we're supposed to use the telling leadership style. But whenever we see the attentiveness, whenever we see the enthusiasm in the followers, we use the selling leadership style. And last is confident but lack relative experience. This is something which is very important and which forces us to use the selling leadership style. It is that, people are confident enough that we can do this task, but they do not have the experience of doing the task. They have enthusiasm, they have interest, they provide the input, they demonstrate their ability, they're excited to perform. But, do you think without carrying the experience, it is easy to work on that? No. Without carrying the experience, it is very difficult to achieve the desired result. So, when that experience is lacking, when you have new people working on the new task where they might have never worked in the past, they might have not known that what is to be done, how it is to be done, when it is to be done, why it is to be done. When that experience is lagging, that is the time we are asked to use the selling leadership style. So here, understand, confidence is there, the only experience is lacking. And in telling leadership style, neither they were confident, nor enthusiastic, nor attractive, nor excited, nor interested, were not having the relevant experience, also were being lazy, procrastinating, avoiding doing the task, being defensive whenever they were being asked to do any kind of task. So that time we use the telling leadership style. But when they are interested, enthusiastic, excited, confident, and the only thing is they were lacking the relative experience, so that is the time we use the telling leadership style. Now, after telling and selling leadership style, next, the third type of style is participating, facilitating, or collaborating leadership style. But now, what do you mean by participating, facilitating, and collaborating leadership style? So it is follower driven as opposed to leader driven. Now, earlier two styles which we have read were the leader driven. Leader was driving everything. Leader was deciding what is to be done, when, why, how, that 5W and 1H question. Leader was answering. But this participating, as the word says participating, that means followers are participating in decision making in each and every step of accomplishing the task. So when we talk about this participating leadership style, it is something which is follower driven. Follower give direction, follower decide about the things, follower decide about what is to be done, when it is to be done, rather than the leader. So leader do not drive them, leader do not control them, leader do not have command, have full hold over the followers. So it says it is follower driven as opposed to leader driven. It depicts an approach that is high on relationship behavior but low on task behavior. So it says that it is something, it is using an approach that is very high on relationship behavior. When it comes to relationship behavior, the task is very high but is very low on task behavior. When it comes to task behavior, when it comes to taking care of whether the task has been achieved or not, taking actions on basis of the task achieved or not. So this is not there under the participating leadership style. This leadership style is something which is only focus, which is majorly focusing on the relationship behavior. Earlier two styles, the first style was completely, telling style was completely task behavior, task oriented. Second was a combination of both, where they were prioritizing the relationship behavior as well as the task behavior also. But this participating leadership style is something which is only completely focusing, which is very high on relationship behavior, but very low on task behavior. The follower has the ability to perform the task in question at a sustained and acceptable level, but lack either the confidence, motivation, or commitment to do so. Now, if you're saying that follower, it is relationship behavior, it is follower driven, then why do we need a leader over there? Because they have the ability to perform the task at a sustainable or at a very good acceptable level, but either they lack the confidence or the motivation and commitment to do that. Now they have the ability to do that, but because of lacking the confidence or no motivation, low motivation, or not being committed to the things in achieving the things, the leader role come. So here what leader is doing, they're not telling them what is to be done, how it is to be done. No, they are just motivating the employees, just they are just trying to make the followers committed, giving them the confidence, giving them the motivation that okay, this is what it is to be done, this is how it is to be done, that this is the way you are going to do. They're just motivating them that you can do it, you will do it, stay on your commitment. All these things are the reason that why we are using the participating leadership style. The next point, the last point says the leader need to discuss the followers' willingness by asking open-ended question intended to help the followers recognizing the source of performance challenge and generate a viable solution. So what he's saying, the leader need to discuss with the followers the willingness, how he's going to discuss, like how he's going to know whether the person is willing to do that task, to perform the task or not. So that can be done by asking the open-ended question. So that is why we say that he has to build a strong bond between him and the followers, so that he can know the willingness and he can know that how he can bring confidence, how he can give them confidence, and how he can motivate and make the employees committed to perform these specific tasks. So that is where we use the participating leadership style. Now, in participating leadership style, what does the participating leadership style do? So if you're going to recall what we did in last 5 minutes, you'll see that here they're lacking confidence, they need some motivation, they need confidence, they need to be committed. That is what they're looking for, right? That is what they do not have within themselves. And for that, the role of the leader comes. They're very good in doing the task. They know how it is to be done, when it is to be done, what it is to be done. All these things they do, but they lack that motivation. So when we talk about participating leadership style, it looks like to the leader need to encourage the inputs. He need to encourage that, okay, this is what you have done. It was excellent, marvelous, but you can do more. Yeah, he's encouraging them. Till here it was very good. You have performed the brilliant and excellent task, but now you need to work on that more. So what he is doing, he's just trying to encourage the employees, he's just trying to encourage the people to deliver the better results. Actively listens. So they need to be active listeners. They need to listen actively, because leaders, after listening to them, after knowing them, knowing their willingness, then only they can help them to motivate themselves, to bring the confidence, to make them committed. So for all that, the leader need to be a person who is very good listener, who is an active listener, supports risk taking. So when it is the follower driven, so definitely they're going to make decisions, they're going to take decisions, they're going to perform the task. So there it says it is very important to support the risk taking behavior of the individuals. Recognize the individual skills. So yes, these individual skills, praise the individual efforts, all these things are going to motivate the people, going to help you to allocate, to give them the task which is to be done by them on depending upon the skills which they have. So here they need to recognize those individual skills, as well as they need to praise the individual efforts from time to time. Now, what are the key indicators of when to use a participating leadership style? So, the key indicator here are the individual is able to complete the task but remain apprehensive about doing so. He is able to complete the task, but there is some hesitation, that apprehsiveness is there about doing the task. Is in the need of feedback and encouragement. He need that feedback, he need that encouragement from the leader, that yes, you can do it, you have to do it, this is where you need to work more. So that regular feedback, regular encouragement is something which this leadership style is going to provide, and which people are looking for from the leader. Slipping in their performance, so they are slipping in their performance, so they are trying to do the best, but slowly their graph is coming down. It's not increasing, the work is not increasing, the performance is not increasing, it is just slipping down. Yeah, just making a slide. So when a leader sees that yes, the performance is slipping down, they are just sliding down, there the role of leader comes to improve their performance again, and to make the graph move up rather than sliding down. Is losing commitment or motivation. So yes, again they are losing the commitment, they are losing the motivation also. So what they're doing, they're losing commitment, they're losing motivation. So they need the leader support to keep them motivated and to keep them committed. And the last thing is, they're attempting to complete the task on their own for the first time. Whenever you see that they are the person who have never done this kind of work, they're trying their best, they're giving their best, they're doing their best to finish up the work on time and for the first time. Whenever you see that they're doing it for the first time by themselves, so there the need of leadership comes. So basically, you can say that under this leadership style, it is just focusing on giving feedback, encouraging them, motivating them, making them committed, and help them improving their performance, which was sliding down. That is what that is where we use this participating leadership style. Now, till here, we have discussed about three different leadership styles, right? We've discussed about the participating leadership style, selling leadership style, and telling leadership style. Now, what do you think? What is the major difference between participating and selling leadership style? Because see, selling leadership style is also something which is focusing on the relationship as well as task oriented, right? Both the things are there in selling leadership style also. If we talk about participating, definitely it is not task oriented, it is leader driven, it is follower driven. There is one difference which we can say that okay, it is not task oriented, but other than that, what other differences are there? Though both the leadership styles are task relationship building, both are building the relation, But still, when we were going through the points, there were a lot of difference. Why? What is it one thing which makes participating leadership style different from selling leadership style? One point is selling leadership style is not follower driven. Why, what, where, when, who, how. These questions, answers to these questions of the follower is still given by the leader only. They are having the people who are not holding any kind of experience when they are working. But if I talk about participating leadership style, it is not so under participating leadership style. Under participating leadership style, they are only focusing on making the employee committed, because here the followers are just lacking in one thing. They're not lacking in interest, they're not lacking in knowledge, they are not procrastinating, they are not running away from the task. The only thing where they're lacking is they're lacking in motivation, and due to which there is sliding down in the performance. Instead of performance going up, the performance is going down, which is the reason of concern for the leader. And that is why, to solve this concern, they focus on using the participating leadership style, where they focus on motivating. They're not focusing on the task, right? This is something which you need to understand. This is the most important and the biggest difference between participating and selling leadership style, which makes participating leadership style different from selling leadership style, is they are not focusing, leaders here are not focusing on, not working on giving the direction to the employees about what, why, when it is to be done. Rather, they're just focusing on motivating the employees to deliver the best results, to deliver the proper results. Because here, employees are not lacking in anything, they're just lacking in motivation. They're lacking, as they're doing it for maybe the task is very new to them. They are giving their best efforts, but still it is new, so they need some kind of guidance, and they need someone who can help them to be committed, and who can help them to increase their performance. And that is why, where this participating leadership style is needed. Is this clear? Okay, so we are done with this leadership session. Now, after 20 minutes, we'll start with the next session for the day, that is motivation and then conflict management. Okay, so we are done for the day. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day.